I'm thrilled to be chatting with you. So I guess before we get into Health's new album, Conflict DLC, due out December 11th. But to close out 2025, you have a bunch of shows that are lined up, Mexico, South America, supporting Pierce the Veil. So what can you say about those guys, I guess, to start things off with, Johnny? And what's it mean for Health to be providing support?
Well, I mean, Pierce the Veil are a complete phenomenon right now. Shows are absolutely massive, so it's pretty exciting. It's cool, just cool to be part of a moment, period, you know?
Are you guys going to be kind of teasing out some of the new music on this run to close out the year?
We are. You know, an issue with this new album is, like, for our tour, we're going to have to hire a fourth guy for live because there's all this, you know, metal shredding. So we're only playing like a handful of new songs, you know?
All right. So just get the fans a little bit of a tease, I guess. Mm-hmm. One thing I saw too on your, I was looking at your tour dates, and I see that you have a DJ set lined up kind of for a Pierce the Veil after party at one of the shows in Mexico. So what about that set, and maybe describe that transition for me too, from playing in Health to, you know, spinning tracks as a DJ, and it's the same night, right?
We do after parties all the time for Health shows. So like it'll be like a major city, you know, sold out show or whatever, like on it. We have a day off the next day. So nothing new. It just like people hit me up, wanting to do a party. They hit me up, wanting to do a party in Mexico City. I play like, you know, whatever they call cyberpunk music or the EDSM, like that really hard-hitting, kind of more mid-tempo electronic music, you know? That doesn't sound like, it sounds close to Health, but it doesn't really sound like the band, you know?
Okay, right on. I know you got a bunch of dates coming up next year as well across the U.S, Canada. Is that something that you might pick up a few shows like that along the way?
Definitely. The only issue is just the hangover, you know? Like, when you're DJing, you can drink infinite drinks because you're just standing there, and that's the biggest problem with it, you know? A show, you don't drink during the show because you're doing stuff.
Let's dig into the album a little bit, and I guess speaking along the lines of that crossover sound, Conflict DLC is described, you know, as your band kind of continuing to explore that deep existential undercurrents through a borderless genre lens.
Well, that was pretty well put together sentence. I don't think it's borderless. You know, we're intentionally dropping genre hints. And yeah, like the obviously existential dread, and that has been a huge part of it. I think the music is just way more appropriate now, and it's more very reflecting of the times. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And with this new album as well, you guys work with some incredibly talented people for the production and the mixing. So who are some of those folks, and what did they bring to the project?
So the newest, it's most of the team we've worked with before, but the new guy is Wizard Blood, also known as Drew Fulk, who did Knock Loose and other big rock records, but he's kind of the secret weapon with these mixes, and so they're just extra lethal. You know, he's great.
And I've seen you talking in other interviews in terms of the process for creating an album, where you'll bring a demo and Jake will bring a demo, but then you'll kind of give it some time apart and you'll bring it back together with those ideas. Was that kind of the same approach with Conflict DLC?
Definitely. We only work during the daytime. We work a max of like 6 hours, and then if it gets kind of stale, we just quit. And then we like to sit on things for a very long time, come back to them after a very long time and totally change them. So it's really like low regret, very easy system of making albums. Definitely what we prefer.
I've had the chance to listen to the album, and a couple tracks that really jumped out to me. Vibe Cop, that really jumped out. The really powerful, the double kick drum just thumping, haunting vocals, Trash Decade. The next song on the album, you know, same energy. I could really just envision circle pits forming and getting really chaotic when those songs are being played. So my question to you, I guess, you know, now with live dates coming and the album set to be released, what are some of those tracks on the new album that you're really looking forward to perform live?
Most of those was the heavy ones. You know, we wrote all this material is written for these crowds. We're playing on these metal festivals, these big shows, and we're writing material for these big shows. So yeah, I hope there's a circle pit.
I could definitely see that happen. I could picture it in my head when I was listening to those songs. And you know, getting back to the creation of Conflict DLC, you know, we just talked about some of the team that you worked with, but I know that you have a producer hat that you bring to the table with Health. So what are some of the tracks that stand out to you that are on the album that either you're most proud of, and what are some of those techniques from a producer lens that you've carried forward from previous albums, or what are maybe some new things that you're bringing to your toolkit?
There's always new gimmicks we're adding, and it's like we also have a record producer, STINT, who's a massive, he's like a co-writer and a producer of all this stuff, so which is great. But yeah, there's always new gimmicks. I'm especially proud of Don't Kill Yourself. I think that's just kind of sonically, we did something different and pretty novel with it, but you know, all of it's great.
I've read that you guys kind of half jokingly categorize your sound as cum metal. So what's the story behind that?
There was kind of a trend of like, Sleep Token and Bad Omens. And everyone's like, oh, what are these new bands? They're kind of like metal, but sexy. And then someone's like, well, Craig Reynolds of The Downbeat, he's like, oh, these are baddiecore. And I just kind of publicly, as a joke, like some beef, I was like, no, that's a terrible name. Because I did think it was a terrible name. I'm like, they're called cum metal. And we kind of had like a pretty fake like online fight. And then eventually I got to go on his podcast. And we determined later that we've decided that cum metal is the previous genre. So cum metal would be Deftones, ourselves, Loathe. And then baddiecore is a subgenre of cum metal, which is Sleep Token, Bad Omens, and etc.
All right, now that we got the description, now I don't have to wonder about that anymore. So thanks for that, Johnny. Your fan base, it's really been described as a coalition of subcultures. So what does that mean to you, Johnny? And so who's listening to Health Records and who's coming to your shows?
A lot of strange fucking people, I'll tell you that. I remember the change was, it was our show in Vancouver. The show was, I think I was like going to eat. And I'm like, all these people walked by. I'm like, look at this fucking weirdos. What is this fucking weirdo convention? I got in line for my show. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. I mean, our fans are the best, and we have the best culture. Our online culture is constant going. Our Discord, the whole fan experience and economy, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is amazing. We love our fans, and it's a really great. If I was a weirdo, which I was as a young kid, I'd be fucking overjoyed to get into the health experience.
So have you seen that kind of, from when you first started, have you seen that evolve over the course of your career to what it is now?
Completely. Yeah, we're completely different beasts, totally different online and in real life community. And and the fan base is a coalition. It's all these different kinds of groups coming together to make the health fan base, and they're all cool.
Right. Your bandmate Jake, in terms of lyrics, really continues to explore familiar themes, I guess, on this new album: depression, anxiety, compulsion.
He's pretty much always talking about the same two things, usually three things.
Right. But I guess from now with this one, I read that you guys, he's kind of put like a 2025 take on it, talking about this hyper digital doom scrolling culture. So maybe expand on that a bit for me, Johnny, and what's your take on, I guess, the words and the lyrics of the new album?
So I think all of us, especially us who loved old, really classic great art, had this kind of thing where as modern life got sort of less and less poetic with technology and the smartphones, the impulse was to kind of run away from it, just to not dramatize it, make the film a period piece. And you saw that in Hollywood too, just for like a decade, like no one would even really confront how life was totally different. And then now if you don't do that, it's just bizarre because everyone has a phone, everyone has all this stuff. So it was kind of like, not being cowardly and like making music for now and drama and including lyrics dramatizing now, whereas before it would seem so crazy to like, if you weren't a rapper, to like sing about a fucking text message or something, So it's just to being real, being honest,
Yeah, confronting it, right? Not, shying away from which is just a reality, right?
And for if you're a young kid and, music is for young people and it's a young man's game, you grew up with this shit. So you're like, well, what are these fucking like? What are you like talking about ye olden times? Like scroll. It's just different.
Right, exactly. And getting to the new album and looking back at some of your previous albums, in terms of the artwork, I don't know, like with your previous albums, like the disco albums kind of followed, in terms of the artwork, a similar aesthetic. And I noticed with Conflict DLC, it follows, in terms of the artwork, a similar look as Rat Wars, your previous album. Is there some corresponding themes there with Rat Wars and Conflict DLC?
Yeah, Rat War. I mean, the Conflict DLC is secretly Rat Wars 2, and they come together. So if you put the two covers together, they're a mirror image, and I'll rate A, B, C, D. So, and you could buy them together as one album too if you want. So it's like it's a double album, but it doesn't really have to be. It stands on its own. It's kind of like a load reload or a Kid Amnesia kind of thing, Right on. Looking ahead to 2026, you have tour dates across the U.S., as we mentioned. 3 dates up here in Canada, Vancouver, Montreal, and a History in Toronto, all in April. So you guys have played here north of the border before. So what has the vibe been like when you guys played up here in Canada? Canadian fans are amazing, and the tickets are selling faster in Canada. Toronto was by far the most violent show of the whole tour, last tour. So, and the Toronto tickets are really moving fast. So we're pretty excited about all the Canada shows are definitely selling out. Excellent.
So we'll look forward to that, and we're looking forward to Conflict DLC, which is going to be out in full on December 11th, 2025 through Loma Vista Recordings. And we were joined here by Johnny from Health, and we appreciate the time, and good luck on tour. We're hopefully going to be able to catch you guys when you come up to Toronto.
Yeah, come say hi.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for the time.
Cool.